follow-up question to one, you expressing your interest was in Malcolm X, and like that question being like, I know that you mentioned that you listen to many speeches and you read books. So like, I guess what was what's the go-to thing like when you read or when you see of Malcolm X that you look at all the time? So like, I guess I'll like provide like an example. So if, let's say, Barack Obama, he is one of those people for me.
Okay.
But one of the speeches that like I always go back to is the Yes We Can speech.
Okay.
That's one of the main speeches that I always look at whenever I look back to Barack Obama or in any of the presidential debates that he had in which he was tearing up the opposition. But like, what would be those for you?
There's actually a couple. There's a speech where he speaks of, and I'm sure a lot of people know about it, the House Negro, Field Negro. It gives a great explanation of the two and how those two Negroes can clash, and we see a lot of that today. The House Negro, the Field Negro mentality. There are also speeches where he is breaking down how white society, not all whites, but white society, the elites, how they can manipulate us, make us hate the wrong people, and just pitting each other, pitting one another against each other, and how it's been so successful, and it's only due to us allowing it, So, those are the two speeches that stand out to me, because I can relate, see a lot of it, and unfortunately, again, while I agree with Malcolm, I can still see what he was talking about back in the 60s. I see that today. We're talking, what's that, 60 years later?
Yeah.
And things aren't getting better. So, while black people, we're making billions of dollars, but guess what? We spend trillions, and not in someone else's economy. So, those are just little things that Malcolm touched on that has always stuck with me throughout these years.
As they should, especially if like those same issues that we see back then, they still resonate. It's one of those things where like the problem still exists. The only difference may be that it looks a little different now, but it's still there. I guess at the foundational, like in spirit, and like also that sort of kind of goes into my next question, and this might be a little bit of a compound question, and it might have you expand a bit more on these things that the black community are going against, or have gone against since that point, coming forward. But what are the dangers, or perhaps what are the foremost dangers that say are like holding back black males in their leadership journey, and overall just when it comes to like black people in progressing further as a community?
I would most likely have to say, and we've seen this lately, we have black men undermining other black men. We have black women undermining black men. Black women undermining other black women. And as overall, black people don't stay on code. Everyone else stays on code. White people, they may not agree with one another politically, sometimes socially, but when it's time to get on board of something that they want to get rid of or take care of, they get on board. They get on code. As we see with the Jewish community, they don't like something. When they feel something is have gone against them, they've been wrong, they stay on code. Okay, and we're talking. There's 5 different sects of Jewish communities. They all come together. We have no problem. the Hispanic community, Asian community, everyone's on code. Black community,
It's divided.
you ask 5 different black people about a problem, you get 5 different answers how the way to solve it. And then usually one of those answers is to go against our own interests.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's like the biggest thing. We have no togetherness.
Mm-hmm.
That's our biggest thing. And we saw that Kanye, Kyrie.
I was just about to mention that too.
We saw. I mean, if you think about it, if everyone in the NBA said, "No, you're not suspending Kyrie. We won't play."
Yeah, they.
What do they have? They got two things they could have did.
Mm-hmm.
Either let Kyrie play and we move on, or they would have shut down the NBA. Are they going to shut down a $4 billion a year industry?
Oh,
I don't think so. Okay, so it's like when we don't stick together, these are the issues that come against us that we don't handle.
Like once we don't stick together, it becomes way easy to isolate. I'm not gonna say isolate and destroy, but just isolate and attack.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
And just as you were like outlining that, this may not be I'll say the instance that like sticks out the most, especially when you brought up the Kyrie and the Kanye example. But it reminded me back, I want to say around 8th grade, 2014-ish. Like we as like a community were supposed to, I think we were supposed to boycott Gucci products.
Oh.
Yeah, and literally you had like I recall some of the celebrities were like, yeah, all right, we're down for it. The other half was like, no, I'm still gonna keep buying the product. So I definitely I see that as well. And I guess also just like a follow up question. I know that the issue still is present. Would you say that that togetherness or that divisiveness, like, has that gotten worse as we've gotten closer and closer to 2019, or has it gotten better? Like, what's happening in that regard?
I would say it's definitely gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gotten worse. And I would say that because, like you said, we can't get black people to stick together for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you've got Gucci, Polo, Hennessy, and all these other companies that black people keep afloat with our money. They disrespect us. They don't stand with us when it's time for our justice. But we continue to patronize them because, hey, I look fancy in my Gucci. People knows it's expensive, so they know I spent a lot of money on this. This is how I let people know that I've got a lot of money because I spent money on this Gucci. Well, I don't have a lot of money, but I bought this Gucci.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bought this Polo. You see, Trick Daddy, he got $2 million worth of Polo. You know what I'm saying? $2 million worth of Polo. Ridiculous. You could have spent that with Fubu or any other black. I'm sure there's other
black-owned businesses.
Black-owned businesses. So these are just the little things that hurt us. Again, not being together, not sticking together, not wanting to stick together.
That's another thing.
That's everything is individual. Well, I got it. Either you need to go get it, or why can't you go get it, or not understanding how this system really works. So.
And it's all crabs in a bucket mentality. Well, I know it's cliche to say that, but yeah, crabs in a bucket mentality.
But not even that, my brother. When you say when we use that mentality, you got to think: or is that a natural environment for a crab? Is the bucket?
And I was about to go to that as well. Like, one, we're not as connected, we're not as together as we ought to be. Plus, also this working against our favor as well. Like this was not. If people hadn't done certain things, we weren't gonna be here.
But but think about this. Yes, we slavery, Jim Crow, the whole nine. Okay, cool. We're here now.
Yeah.
What can we do now? What can we do now is one thing we can do is shut down their economy. When we do that, stop buying stuff. Why can't for 1 week black people just not buy stuff? Do you know how we would cripple their economy? How about all the NFL players, NBA, NFL, who we make up 80%? We say, you know what? Until there are guaranteed contracts in the NFL,
then we just
won't play. And then we've got to have the stamina to say, okay, well, if I can't be an NFL player, then I'll go get me a job doing something else, making money, and be satisfied with that. But I mean, essentially, yes, I make millions of dollars, but I'm a slave to another man. I have to do what he tells me to do, when he tells me to do it, how to do it. And if I get in a line, he'll snatch everything away from me. Wow. Again, would I trade with, I don't make millions of dollars, so I can't say what I would or wouldn't do in that situation. I can talk all I want. Millions of dollars come into play. Different ball game. Yeah. At the same time, though, at what point, though, do you say enough is enough? I'm a 265-pound, 6'5" black man. Now I've got to bow down to a 5'8" white guy just because he signs my checks. So again, this is just the mentality. We black people have the ability to shut this country down, but we won't do it. Don't have the discipline. We don't have the want. Or we don't have the care.
Either that, or it also seems you mentioned stamina. I would also say like the sight one to see. Okay, well, if we all together stood together as one and took this stand as a unit, then in the long run, this is going to like help out. Yeah. Like it may not necessarily help us out, but definitely like our children, grandchildren, the people that'll come after, they will be helped out because of this.
If for 1 month black people said, not shopping at Walmart, not shopping at Publix, no white-owned stores. I will find a black place to buy my food. I will find a black place to buy my household products that I need. My car products, whatever it is we need. Yeah. I'll find it. Versus going out of the street to Walmart, Publix, and putting more and more and more and more money in their pockets.
And they don't
Let's
respect
put some more money, and they don't respect us. Let's put some more money in the black community and have our dollar circulate through our community 14 times before it leaves our community like it does in the Jewish communities. 10 times like it does in Hispanic communities. You know what I'm saying? 12 times like it does in the white communities. You know what I'm saying? Ours, $1 and we gone. So again, these are little things that we just bear down. We could do. And unfortunately, we don't have to take these roles that we've seen in Love and Hip Hop in these movies that we complain about. Every movie we got is a slave movie. Yeah. We could say no.
I hope that they would. Do I think that they would? That, to my apologies, because I got a little bit of pessimism going on. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I be thinking that we ought to, like, as a community, like, have like a sit down or something. I don't know how we could organize that, but we need to have like a sit down where we all just get on one accord. But that's wow. That would take a whole lot of mediating.
A whole lot of mediating, and again, people would need to want to. We need black people to say we're tired of being treated this way. I'm sure you hear it, I hear it. Black people complain about this, about that, but we don't do anything about it. We complain, We complain about what they're doing to Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Who's boycotting the NBA? None of us.
Because they still got the jerseys.
Still buying jerseys.
The
still
sleeves.
buying sneakers, sleeves, headbands, balls, going to the games. You're still watching the games. You know what I'm saying? And now, but then again, that begs the question is, if me and you and whoever else are boycotting, we're doing this. How come the players not even boycotting? The players are saying, "Hey, we still play. We got families to feed. We got millions of dollars to make." They're not boycotting, so why should we now boycott in their favor when they're not even doing it? NFL players, they don't get guaranteed contracts. They can rip up your contract for whatever reason they want. You're not going to fight for that? Only because you're scared that they'll shut everything down and you won't be able to play football. Hey, UPS is hiring truck drivers. You know,
and then not only that,
doctors,
because
lawyers.
You have the name, you probably could get it. You probably could get said spot that you want without even trying too hard.
So I mean, if we were to just take a stand and stick to that stand, I think we could do some damage. But is it going to happen? I'm not, like you said, I'm not very
not very optimistic.
Not very at all, because you see every day on TV, movies, TikTok, social media. For every two woke black people who are ready to get on with the struggle and tackle it, we see 10 blacks saying, "Forget that." You know what I mean? Forget that. I gotta get mine. Forget what's happening over there. So sorry to ramble.
Oh no, it's all cool. Nonetheless, all valuable information. I'm pretty sure at some point in time, like we've already discussed it and we've already talked about it, but nonetheless, though, it's still a message that still needs to be reiterated, because we still keep coming across the same issues again and again and again for so long. And
how many times are we going to repeat the same history? I mean, I don't know about you, but I know they marched back in the '60s. Why are we still marching? No other group got what they wanted by marching. Marching, holding signs, and what they did was they shut things down financially.
Because that's one. And more than anything, if you hurt somebody's pockets, then
for a year and a half, people in Alabama didn't ride the bus. For a year and a half, they walked. Have we got that same resiliency now? Not to go to Walmart, not to patron these places that don't care about us, don't support us. Let's find some places that do. And on the flip side, though, black businesses have to be more courteous, give more customer service, and show that they enjoy and want black customers to patron them.
And also making sure that they provide said things that those other like Walmart and Publix that they provide as well. So that whenever everybody does come together and want to stand, it's not like, okay, well, we're not gonna go. It's not one of those things where, okay, well, we're not gonna go shop at Walmart or Publix, but okay, and we're good with that because we have like a store that also provides the same thing. So that's something I think we need. And I enjoyed all of that. I do have another question though. I think this might be the last one because shoot, man, we might go on for hours and hours and hours. And you know what? I'll say this: just because the conversation's so good, we definitely got to spin the block and do another one of these. Okay. But the last question that I have for you is like, what is the most, or what are some of the notable experiences that you've had within your life that has made you into a black male leader?
I would definitely have to say not growing up with a father. Because usually I can go one or two ways. Either you can go to the left or to the right. And not say that I was ever perfect or anything like that. It's just that growing up without a father, it made me want to be there for my kids that much more. Okay. And so that and then becoming a father so young, I was able to teach, but I'm learning at the same time. So I'm learning, teaching, and because of that, you ask my children now, some good things, some bad things, but they'll all tell you now that, hey, they never lived in no hood, they never lived in a place where it was inhabitable, rats, roaches, none of that. You know what I'm saying? We moved a lot, yes. Okay, but again, they've always had the best that me and their mother could give them. So we've always tried to guide them spiritually, talk to them, guide them, and sometimes we weren't as strict as we should have been. Sometimes we were too strict, but it's all about that balance of not having a father, having kids young, and always trying to do better. Always succeeding, but trying to do better. So that's, where I can say I kind of picked up everything, And so, and then, taking little bits and pieces from any older cats that I was always around. That's what I was drew to. I don't know if you want to call it a dad complex or whatever, but I was gravitated to older guys, and listen, learn, take a little bit here, there, take a little bit here, and try to apply that, to my little repertoire as a black man, and so then I try to pass that along to not only my kids, but, younger dudes that I, come in contact with. So, now whether they take my advice, that's another thing. But, like I said, I try to guide people that, I have been through a lot. So I always try to guide people and show them the best way to do something. Because like I said, I'm a master of all, jack of all trades, master of none. But that is better than mastering one.
And then all these other areas not got nothing.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So one, I appreciated all of that. I think one, like the two main things within that answer that really like stood out to me the most. The first part I definitely related to when you mentioned one, like growing up without a father. That goes one of two ways. Because I know me growing up, I'm not even gonna talk too much about me, but me growing up, like I definitely like saw a whole bunch of other different dudes. Cause it was sort of kind of funny because I never grew up with my father. I saw a whole bunch of people who like had their fathers like early on, and then for whatever reason, they sort of kind of lost it, and then they went left. And I'm thankful that me, I didn't go down that path, and my brothers, they were also they're also in the group that they had their fathers early on and lost it. They didn't go left, thankfully. So I definitely can speak to that, and also like you mentioned something about like having to learn and also teach at the same time. Like one, of course, it's parenthood. Like going through college is nothing like giving birth and nothing about like raising children, but that having to like learn and teach, like just ultimately do multiple things at the same time is definitely something I also can relate to, because one, there at some point in time there's going to be a mess up, but nonetheless life is the long game. So as long as you still keep going forward, and you still, I mean, we just played Madden the other day. It's all about adjustments.
Exactly.
So I definitely, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for all the information. Now, I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to cut this all right here. Don't worry, I'm going to get it out to y'all. And, of course, I will be having Mr. Debnam back on here, all right? And we'll be talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. But, again, I thank y'all so much, all right? If y'all enjoyed, matter of fact, I'm not even going to say if y'all enjoyed. Y'all please leave a like, comments or any questions, anything that you rock with, anything that you support, just anything in general, y'all leave that down in the comment section below. And most importantly, stay tuned, stay tapped in, and stay locked in, because the juice over here never stops dripping. Also, do you have any final words?
Just, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. For all your real estate needs, you can contact Zach.
I was about to say, make sure that you plug them, plug it in.
And also, this is be on my YouTube channel on Keeping It Real T.
Yeah.
Hashtag TY. On the end of that real, and check out my channel. Give my man comment, likes, the whole nine. Let him go viral on this.
Hey, y'all make sure that y'all all the love, all the respect, all of that, y'all make sure that y'all give that to his channel as well. So, again, thank y'all so much, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace, be easy, and stay blessed up.